wish I could stay longer.
Hi, I'm Wayne Cousins.
I'm Ramona. This week, World Stage 86 takes you to the fabulous Abbotsford Air Show.
I'll be going up with a crack American parachute team called the Golden Knights. I'm really looking forward to it.
We'll also fly the amazing supersonic Concorde as it performs at the show.
Here at Expo, we'll have some fun with puppets of all shapes and sizes at Puppetfest.
And Bill Dobson will show us an Expo facility that most Expo visitors hope they'll never see, the medical center.
But first, we're off to Thailand. Not the real thing, mind you, but after you see this, it'll make you want the real thing. I promise you that.
From a land once called Siam, a land of smiles, comes a crown prince.
It is a great privilege and pleasure for me to be in the city of Vancouver during this centennial celebration.
With Thailand's crown prince are his royal dancers. Far cry from the Hollywood versions we saw in The King and I. This is the Royal Thai Ballet, and their performance at the World Festival has got to be one of the highlights of Expo 86. You can see the classical influences in their controlled movements, at once Indian and then Chinese. A long time ago, these dancers were rarely seen outside the royal palace, but nowadays they are perhaps Thailand's most acclaimed cultural ambassadors. Thailand's pavilion also reflects this tranquil elegance. Here you can look closer at the relationship between mythology and culture. There may be more hand-carved items than computers in the Thai pavilion, but it's all deliberate. Supyan Eaton tells us why.
We come from a very small country and have a lot of culture, and we think it's better for us to show a lot of arts and culture, and it is working because people really interested, and I am very proud actually.
Whether it's the Thailand pavilion or Thai dance, you're sure to come away with a deeper understanding of the land we used to call Siam. I know I did. From the Thailand pavilion, I'm Ramona Marr.
The organizers of Expo 86 realized that every World's Fair is bound to have its share of mishaps and emergencies. So, they built a state-of-the-art system to deal with such things. As Bill Dobson found out, it's working very smoothly.
When you have 140,000 people all in an enclosed fairground, you're just bound to have illnesses, injuries, and other medical problems. So what happens to them at Expo? We'll show you.
There are 3 emergency centers at the main Expo site and 1 at the Canada Pavilion. They're manned by trained and experienced staff made up mainly of off-duty ambulance paramedics and off-duty nurses, a total of 40 at any one time. The centers see over 300 cases in any day, but the problems are mostly minor.
Stretch that much.
There we go.
Do you have any on your sole of your foot as well?
As one nurse told me, this is Blister City. We're the world's experts on blisters. And indeed, they have a new soothing material that's very good on blisters. Carol Sutherland, the assistant manager of safety and emergency, says they're also ready for the worst should it occur.
We've seen no heart attacks with, or no serious heart attacks, that is cardiac arrests. We were so ready for them, in fact, that we'd set up a special program. We've trained our security guards in the use of a very new device that should be life-saving, but we haven't had a chance to try it out.
Well, let's hope you don't. Maybe the fair will go on and you won't have to save too many lives.
Maybe we're a cure for heart disease.
Oh, that was just...
Every case is documented, no matter how simple, so that no one can come back later and say they were not given the best treatment possible. Treatment at the on-site centers is free, and people come in with every conceivable problem. Serious cases are given emergency room care here, and when the patient is stabilized, he or she is moved to one of the city's major hospitals. If you have a problem at Expo, see any member of the Expo staff, and help will be on the way. From the First Aid and Security Center, for World Stage 86, I'm Bill Dobson.
Still ahead on World Stage, Puppetfest comes to life at Expo, and the thrills of the Abbotsford Air Show, the best planes and the best flyers from around the world.
Well, it sounds so good. Hey, turn up the radio.
Newsflash, puppets invade Expo. But don't be alarmed. It was a happy gathering of puppet practitioners here in Vancouver. Ramona pulled a few strings and got an invitation.
They've come from places like Australia, Germany, Yugoslavia, Japan, and the States. And they've arrived in all shapes, colors, sizes, and personalities.
Oh, my goodness. Hi, Mom.
For the past week, Expo has hosted some of the most wonderful characters you will ever see as they gathered for the Vancouver International Puppet Fest. The extravaganza gave us the entire range of puppetry, from the huge body puppets of a troupe called Theatre of Giants. Also at the Canada Pavilion at the Amiga Theatre, Tolkien's The Hobbit came alive thanks to Quebec's Théâtre Sans Filles. And theatrical puppets were given the breath of life at Folklife, where figures of speech theater provided an animated look at Inuit tales.
We're going to sing right now, and Garlu really is a fine, fine singing talent. Now, I don't want you to think...
From drama to comedy, Canada's John Pattison put on a fun show at the Flying Club with strange friends who live in suitcases.
Sing for you right now. Now, in fact, he's been taking vocal lessons for quite some time. Now, I got my foot stuck. Don't interrupt me. Now, ladies, I got my foot stuck in the box. Just be quiet. Now, I got my foot stuck in the box, you idiot!
Don Bryan, a fellow ventriloquist, was also on hand with Mr. Noseworthy.
Listen, I want to talk. Listen, yeah, I have something. You don't listen. Yeah, I'm talking. Look, will you keep your mouth shut when I'm talking? Why should I? You don't keep yours shut when I'm talking. Hello? Hello? Can't you hear me? Fingers in my ears. Oh.
And this is the bouncy Dennis the tennis ball.
What did you do before you played tennis? Used to be a bouncer. No. Yeah. That's cute. Thank you. You're not smiling. Squeeze harder. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to help you out and give you a whole new look. How? Let me show you. Watch this. 1, 2. Ah. What do you think about that? Yeah, sitting on my face. No.
Now here's a puppeteer who knows how to pull his strings. American Philip Huber works his magic into a musical review, almost better than the real thing.
City nights, the color of city sights, that shine under city lights, tinting the skies.
From the Vancouver International Puppet Fest, I'm Ramona Marr.
Well, this is it, Abbotsford, British Columbia, about 50 miles east of Vancouver. This is the scene of the Abbotsford International Air Show, and this year it's by far the biggest air show in North America. We came here to watch, but we also came here to fly. It all started this morning when I was offered a ride with a flying team from Brazil. Do you train some of the other? The Esquadrilha da Fumaça, the smoke squadron of the Brazilian Air Force. They fly Tucano turboprops, built in Brazil, but with Canadian engines. It was the first time I'd done anything remotely like this, and I was a little apprehensive. Ramona was out there somewhere watching, probably a bit envious. I had a small camera with me, and this was my view during the takeoff. As for the flight itself, incredible. It's something you have to do for yourself to really understand the sensation. There were 4 planes in the group, flying in tight formation, and they didn't hold back a bit. Steep turns, loops, full inversions, everything. I felt a bit strange at times. The G-forces are really strong, but the whole experience was one I'll never forget. By the time I got back, I was just itching to tell somebody about it. It's the most fun you can have with your pants on. But I'm glad I brought a second pair. There we go. Oh. Earth never looked so good. But where was Ramona? I thought she'd be here to meet me. Then I saw her, casually climbing into a jet.
Eat your heart out, Wayne. La Patrie de France, the French aerobatic team, invited me to take a ride with them. They fly Alpha jets, which are used as trainers for the French Air Force. I asked the pilot to take it easy with me, and he did. But during their performances, they really turn it on. My flight was tame by comparison, but it was truly a wonderful feeling.
Welcome back to Earth, partner.
Oh.
How'd you do?
Wonderful. How did you do?
I'll never forget it.
Neither would I. I was saying that Jonathan Living Seagull is a perfect analogy for that whole flight. It was terrific.
The Golden Knights. But the excitement wasn't over. The Golden Knights invited me to go up with them and watch them jump. They're the U.S. Army's amazing parachute team, and they really know what they're doing. Some of these guys have as many as 2,000 jumps to their credit. Black team. First, we rode the big C-130 Hercules to a chilly 12,000 feet, ready for the jump. That gave me a chance to talk with some of the members of the Golden Knights team. Now, you guys are known as probably the best parachute team in the world.
That's our goal, and that's what we strive for. Every day that we go to work, that's what we're shooting for, to become better at what we do.
As we got near the jump altitude, the side doors were opened, and it was almost showtime.
We're doing our full show today. We've done it plenty of times. It's a little different. This is a big crowd down there, real big. It's probably one of the world's largest air shows, and we're really fired up about it.
The Abbotsford Airport waits below, and it's time for the first jump. They seem to slip away so calmly into the air, and they quickly become tiny dots against a patchwork of fields. But you know their hearts must really be pumping. For the many thousands watching below, it's a spectacular sight, performed with incredible skill and accuracy. But I'm happy just this once I saw it from an angle few people have. The Golden Knights.
And another nice soft dead center landing on target. Give them a big hand, ladies and gentlemen.
The Abbotsford Air Show is a lot more than just flying. What the public usually doesn't see is the business side of the show, but it's very important. Kent Cathcart has a report.
Aerobatics are a common sight at air shows, but in this case, we're watching another innovation in the search for more efficient aircraft performance.
This Soviet Antonov plane
is one reason why Airfare 86 is a rare opportunity to combine aviation business and air showmanship on the eve of the Abbotsford Air Show. This was the first time that a Soviet AN-74 was seen in the West. It has been used extensively in the Soviet Arctic. Meanwhile, the pilot of this similar-looking U.S. NASA experimental plane is showing how the concept of upper surface blowing propulsion helps to improve its short takeoff and landing capabilities. Also performing was Canada's famous Beaver, equipped with a new wing to achieve rapid lift and lower fuel consumption. Airfare 86 was the first aviation trade fair held in Canada and may become an annual event. Dozens of suppliers showed their products and services. Pratt & Whitney supplies up to 70% of the world's turboprop engines for general aviation use. The European consortium, Airbus Industry, builds the wide-body Airbus, of which Ward Air is the first Canadian buyer. Aviation manufacturing is highly competitive and expensive, so it wasn't long before someone would come up with a kit to build your own aircraft. In this case, it's the Rotorway Executive Helicopter. Range Air of Calgary had one on display and proudly took it through some maneuvers. The Rotorway is licensed in Canada, and retired Canadian Air Force Major John Hugill says it flies like a charm.
We find that there's a tremendous interest among the ranchers in Western Canada, and here in the Lower Mainland, we have an awful lot of interest in individuals who primarily are self-employed and or are presently pilots.
Abbotsford is home to Concorde Aviation, the largest private operator of forest fire bombers. They showed off their newest innovation, a converted F-27 turboprop airliner equipped with fire-retardant tanks. Concorde plans to convert its entire fleet of F-27s and is banking on worldwide sales in future. For World Stage 86, I'm Ken Cathcart at Airfare 86.
Still to come on World Stage, Concorde, the sleek supersonic beauty shows off for the crowd at Abbotsford. Stay with us.
British have brought an excellent example of their transportation technology to Expo in Vancouver. It's the Optica observation aircraft, the next best thing to a helicopter, and in some ways better. It has what they call a loitering speed of 65 knots. It carries two people with 270-degree visibility and operates at a quarter the cost of a comparable single-turbine helicopter. It can stay in the air for more than 6 hours. So all these things make it ideal for traffic observation, pipeline inspection, aerial photography, police and Coast Guard patrols. Mighty clever, these British.
Surely the world's most sophisticated passenger aircraft is the supersonic Concorde, and British Airways brought one of theirs to this year's Abbotsford Air Show.
You only have to stand beside this aircraft to fall under its spell. It's a symbol of speed, a sleek sword of awesome power. It is Concorde. British Airways invited our World Stage crew to fly on Concorde during its Abbotsford Air Show appearance. Our pilot for the flight was Captain Brian Walpole.
I have learned over the years that the best way to demonstrate Concorde is to demonstrate it slowly. In other words, not to fly it, race it across in front of the crowd at 350 or 400 miles an hour. That does not give it its biggest visual impact. And the reasons for that are twofold. Firstly, that in flying it slowly, it remains in front of people for longer. And secondly, that by flying it slowly, you can actually keep your radius of turn down, so you can be much closer to the crowd all the time. Now, the show we did today was done between 165 and 230 knots, so it was pretty slow when you think the airplane actually can fly up to 1,100 miles an hour, 1,100 knots.
The needle nose and the delta wing of Concorde make it a beautiful sight for the air show crowd. But it's also an exciting ride for Captain Walpole.
Oh, it's a tremendous element of thrilling, but I'm totally involved in what's going on. There's no room for any other thoughts at all but the aeroplane. Have I got the speed right? Have I got the bank angle right? You know, oh, how low, how high are we? Where's the crowd? Where's the center line? All these things are going through your mind the whole time. Now, people who are with me, the co-pilot flight engineer and the guy in the jump seat, will say, gosh, did you see all those people down there? And they were looking up, and did you see that and this? And I saw none of that. All I saw was the instruments I have in front of me, plus the occasional glance out to see where the crowd is in relation to my position and so on. To fly Concorde is very exciting from a pilot's point of view. It's exciting because the airplane has a tremendous power-weight ratio. It flies very, very quickly indeed. It is very, very responsive to control inputs, as you saw today. I mean, I could have flown it with the tips of my fingers. And it's beautifully instrumented, so it can fly it very, very accurately. So it's exciting in all those respects. It has been likened to a very beautiful woman, Concorde. It's got a magnificent appearance, it's chic, it looks right, it is right. But you start peeling off the top layers of that airplane and you get some pretty complicated kit. So it is demanding. It is, however, under the third heading, it is rewarding. Very, very rewarding indeed, because it works technically, it works economically, it makes a great deal of money for the airline, British Airways. We're desperately proud of the airplane, but above all, we are rewarded by it, by the fact that we are the envy of our professional colleagues the world across.
What a beautiful airplane. Not that most of us can afford to fly it.
True, but you're right. It's beautiful to watch.
Next week on World Stage 86, an exclusive interview with Jacques Cousteau, who was at Expo recently.
And a look behind the scenes at one of Expo's most incredible entertainment events, the La Scala production of E. Lombardi.
And speaking of entertainment, Hong Kong's wonderful children's choir will be performing at Vancouver's Orpheum Theatre August 16th at 2:30.
But if you missed that show, you can catch them here on World Stage a couple of weeks from now.
In Abbotsford, BC, for World Stage 86, I'm Ramona Marr.
And I'm Top Gun and Wayne Cousins. See you at Expo.
Our land to deep